187. Only 4 hits for the Red Sox. One with a home run. Pedroia had a single. Benintendi a single, and Betts a double. The way it's gone tonight for the Red Sox. Now Marrero bounced out 4-3 and struck out.
whole bunch of things, all kinds of stuff that's paranormal. And if you're following along with us on SpookySouthcoast.com, on YouTube, on our free Spooky South Coast app, that's the way for the show here at the beginning because the Red Sox are on WBSM. So we're going internet only, which means we can say whatever we want, and we probably will. We'll do that all coming up on a very special. We have guests in the studio. It's 2 weeks in a row we've had guests in the studio. Guests, that's me. That's, oh, geez, Tim, bring down your volume on YouTube. You should know better than that by now. So 2 weeks in a row, guests in the studio. Makes my job easier. And we will be starting off with episode 502 of Spooky South Coast, beginning right now. Ways, and we will give it to you every which way we can. That's what we do here.
We're into that.
We talk about the paranormal each and every Saturday night for the beginning of the show, and then we usually wander off into talking about snacks before the show is over.
Food.
So we do have some guests in the studio tonight. We will find out what their favorite snacks are, as well as some of their paranormal experiences as well. But we've had a long day today. It's been rough. It started off with rain, but
it has been a very long day. I started off the day completely soaking wet from torrential monsoon downpours. I was not happy about that.
We were at the Middleborough Paracon
We
today.
were.
And why don't you introduce our guests tonight, Stephanie?
Our guest tonight is a very good friend of mine.
No, both guests. Don't make John feel like he's not welcome.
I did it on purpose because he was.
I knew as soon as she said a very good friend of mine, she wasn't talking about you.
He was just giving me shit for not including him on my.
That's right. I look out for you. I make sure
Oh,
your
by the way,
tacos are there.
Your mic is
I
right
put it on the
there.
radio right before.
Did you really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Stop it. You have a mic hanging in the air. You know that, right? So
Yeah, that's yours.
our
Big gold one.
the guest that our audience does not know is from Sci-Fi's Ghost Hunters, Season 10 and Season 11, Miss Sherry DiBenedetti.
Hello.
Hi.
And that's all she has to say, folks.
Well, that's it. That's
What
it.
did you say?
Sherry out. We're done.
So, but we were at
You can push up.
This is,
It's okay. You don't be afraid.
You know what? The headphones are really too big for my head. See, not only am I small, my headphones don't even fit.
Oh,
Hey,
there's so many comments that could be said.
listen. Is this going to be a dirty version of Spooky tonight?
Wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
God.
We've spent a good portion of our day entertaining each other.
You did miss a good story earlier, though, Tim. We'll have to tell you about it later off the air.
Does this include the dancing pickles?
Yes, about dancing pickles.
Why does it have to be off there?
Right.
It's not really that
We're not on
bad.
the air, so we're good.
Oh, that's true. So You do know that I have a set of dancing pickles tattooed on my leg, right?
I've heard that you have a weird tattoo in a weird place.
Okay. So, Cherie didn't know that. So we're standing there, and I was very hot at the Oliver House at the investigation. I said, I would be wearing shorts, but I'm pretty embarrassed showing off my dancing pickles. Her mind went somewhere else.
I didn't know about the tattoo.
She was like, pickles, you have two?
Right. I didn't know about the tattoo.
Her mind went
response
somewhere
was golden.
else. Yes, it was. You talking about the boys? And I'm like, no. I literally have 2 tattooed dancing pickles on my leg. So I had to show everybody, and of course other people wanted to see. And
So if you're embarrassed by the tattoo, why do you have it?
Oh, I'm getting it covered up. It was a mistake.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm getting
So
it covered up.
how does that mistake happen?
A lot of alcohol and an artist that's never tattooed, letting them tattoo on me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
You
all.
walked in and you said, I want a picture of Don Rickles. And instead they heard dancing pickles. Because who would want who would want a Don Rickles picture on their
Right.
body? So my uncle has a tattoo of Jiminy Cricket way up on his upper thigh.
Well,
Really?
that's
Yes.
awkward.
And I said to him,
Yes.
I said, why do you have a tattoo of Jiminy Cricket so high up on your thigh? And he says, because I have to drop my pants to talk to my conscience.
Oh my god.
And- No, that's a true story. True story. So we are going to be talking about some paranormal stuff. And,
We are,
and weird
and
tattoos. And,
We do have John Brightman in studio again. And he is a very good friend.
She says again. She's like, oh, he keeps
Again,
coming.
yeah.
He keeps
Although it was
showing
her
up.
idea.
Can I do anything right today?
We pull up. We see him out there in his white Ford with his fidget spinner and his man bun.
Listen.
Private joke. Private
Yes,
joke.
I don't have a man bun.
Or do you have a fidget spinner?
No.
All
Thank
right.
God.
So, but we were at the Middleborough Paracon earlier today. Great turnout. What a great event for the first time ever.
Yes.
Yes,
They had
very much
a lot of and they helped raise a lot of money and a lot of awareness for the Oliver House, which Stephanie and I both got a chance to see. John, you got everybody. This week, Stephanie went a little earlier than this week, but for the
Yes.
rest of us, first time ever going over there and checking it out. What a place.
It was awesome. I'm actually going to be there next weekend doing a full-on investigation that sold out. So I'm looking forward to it after seeing the activity that people were getting while they were there.
And I was just taking a tour before, because the Nick Groff tour is going on tonight in Middleborough.
It is.
So I know I can say that on the radio because people, by the time they get over there, they'll be done. So I'm like, yeah, Nick Groff's in Middleborough. People knew he was there. They were selling
Right.
tickets.
It's not a secret.
But so the Nick Groff tour is there, so they were coming to use the Oliver House, and so Christy was like, "Why don't you come over really quick, take a tour?" Because I'd never been, and she's like, "I'll show you around." So she gave me a tour, and when we're on the second floor, we're in the back side of the house, looking into Peter Oliver Jr.'s room,
Yes.
and as I'm looking across that closet, I see something walk across, and I was like, "Oh well, there's a jacket in the hallway." So I think I just looked really fast and thought that, but like then I'm playing it over in my head. I'm like, no, this thing moved behind the jacket. So I saw something there, and then I found out that Stephanie saw something similar the other night when she was there, and Christy says that it's that room. There's been a lot of reported activity of something moving across. I was like, well, that's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
I had a few quick experiences in the hour and a half that I was at the house on Wednesday night, and I was pretty surprised. And I was standing right in that room when you first walk in, which is right off the kitchen, and I'm looking at everybody, and they're talking to me, and I said, "Guys, don't hear that?" They were like, "What do you hear?" I said, "Somebody keeps whistling. Who's whistling?" And it was starting to annoy me because all I could hear was whistling amongst people talking. And they all looked at me like I was crazy. And they're like, "You heard the whistler?" I was like, "Yes, is that a thing?" They're like, "Yeah, we hear it all the time. There's a guy in here that whistles." I was like, "Okay, cool, awesome."
It's the ghost of handsome John Pruitt.
The house was
Matt
amazing.
Matt got that joke.
Yeah, I did.
I know he did. Nobody else did.
No,
Sorry,
I
friend.
definitely did it. The house is pretty amazing, though.
Chat room. Anybody get the handsome John Pruitt joke? They're all going to start Googling it, but you get it?
No,
You
I
don't?
have no idea.
Thank God I'm not alone.
No.
I'm always alone in this.
That was the tow truck driver with the hook for a hand in Adventures in Babysitting.
No.
Wow.
The obscure things that I know.
yeah.
And what's funny is Matt Costa knows most of them too because like he's heard me make so many stupid references over the years. But ask me to do something important, I can't do it. One of the things too that I was also impressed with the Oliver House is the passion that Christy and all the volunteers have for it, and the town has realized that, hey, wait a minute, this paranormal thing can really help us out with what we're trying to do here. And when you have a place like that that has so much history, a place that has already, I mean, that's what's funny about it is it didn't really have a big paranormal backstory before they started utilizing this avenue as a fundraiser. So it's not like you can say, oh, it's like Lizzie Borden's house where everybody knows what goes on there. I mean, this is a place that they put on the map paranormally, but also use the paranormal to put it on the map.
Right.
Which is, in my eyes, that's the way that it should work. These things should go hand in hand. You shouldn't be afraid of the ghosts. You shouldn't be afraid of promoting the ghosts if you know that that's going to turn into a revenue stream and an awareness stream for people. Yep. And that's the biggest problem is a lot of historical societies still are like, oh, no, we don't want anything to do with that. We talked about this last week with Ty, that there's still that stigma of, I don't want to have, no pun intended, ghost hunters walking through my place. But they're going to be more respectful than most of the people that are going to come on a tour. The average, summer resident coming into Middleborough and looking for something to do during the day that goes and takes a tour of the Oliver Estate isn't going to be as respectful as a person that walks into the place and says, wow, I'm making a direct connection with history from the 1700s. I'm going to make sure that I am reverential while I'm here. So,
and it's crazy because we've talked about it in the past, me and you, Tim, that there's a couple locations locally, that one being in Fall River, a big ship, that won't let us know.
You said ship, right?
Ship.
Okay, all right.
Yes. That no paranormal people are allowed on because they're afraid that they'll lose revenue from it.
Yeah, they don't like the connotation and they feel like it's disrespectful to those who served on the ship. But we're trying to give those who served and perished a voice, as opposed to like a bunch of Boy Scouts that are just running around and, giving each other wet willies. That's where you stick your tongue in there. For anybody that doesn't know what a wet willy is.
Not all right. No.
So no wet willies and no
Hell
aliens.
No.
I just want to make sure I explain what a wet willy is to those who don't know. Like, why are you talking about Boy Scouts willies? That's a different show.
Hey, what about a wet willy from an alien?
No.
Oh.
Stop it right now. I actually think I would rather have an encounter face to face with an alien than get a wet willy. What does that tell you?
What about a wet willy from an alien?
No, that's what he just said.
I'm sorry, I was reading the chat room.
No, not okay.
What about a dry willy from an alien?
No.
What about Alf and Willie?
No,
he was an alien. Okay.
Stop.
He got it. He got it.
Oh, yes.
Hey, Willie, give me 4. All right. The Paracon itself, though, like, it was, as you said, it was raining a little bit in the morning, which everybody was worried about that putting a damper on it. I don't think it did at all.
I agree.
It was just a little bit of an inconvenience, but it didn't ruin the day at all. Fantastic time, great lineup of speakers. We had John Yu kicked it off, Ken DaCosta, Mark Arvola, and some guy named Tim Weisberg, and Stephanie. When we and I poked my head in during your lecture. I opened the door behind you because I didn't want to be distracting to you, and I thought
I heard that, but
I just poked my head in for a second and just watched and saw it, and everybody was having a great time, and
they really were. They enjoyed it the whole day.
And then I walked away thinking I should have probably taken some photos for you because you're building a website.
Nice.
But
thanks.
I realized that afterwards, and by that point I was already going over to the BBQ truck.
My official photographer had to leave early right when I started my lecture, so
that was probably the highlight of the day for me. The BBQ.
I thought that was a really clever name.
Hey, the mac and cheese was good.
I didn't get to eat.
It's two different. There was 2 different barbecue places, but I guess they kind of work together. So there was the BBQ and then the other one, which is I have their card, but they have like giant spiders and stuff, and it was really good.
Giant spiders,
like decorations.
Oh, okay, all right.
Like on the truck and on the smoke. They had 2 smokers right out front that said BBQ right on the front of it in bright orange letters.
Yeah, I did see the advertisements for it, and I saw the booth, and I just thought that was a really clever name and really cool to have at a Paracon.
And they had something that other Paracons have not had.
What is that?
And it was a good move. They had booze.
They did have booze.
They were selling alcohol. They had a bartender there, a mobile bartender or whatever you want to call it. And
I thought that was really cool.
That was great.
And nobody was overdoing it.
Nope.
No,
nobody was.
Everybody was
awesome.
just enjoying a nice cold beer while they had some of their barbecue food and walked around.
And it was hot out there.
It was very hot.
So it was really probably good for some people to just cool down that way.
That's how my hair ended up looking like this.
And everything was reasonably priced. I think everybody enjoyed themselves. Everybody had a good time. Good crowds for the lectures.
Yes.
And so one thing I do want to mention is, and you know what? I know that Mark is listening,
He is.
and I want to thank them for we were kind of messing around all day, saying like we're in this haunted town hall. We want to have the chance to poke around a little bit. And so we did get the chance to go upstairs where Nick was doing his VIP event. We got to go up there and hang out with everybody for a while. But the husband of one of the select people in town was saying, we'll get you into some other places. So we really wanted to go into the basement. So we were kind of harassing him all day a little bit, like, don't forget us. We want to go in the basement. So he brought us down there toward the end of the time that we were there. And Mark spoke today for the first time, I think, publicly. I don't think he's done this publicly yet. Something that I've been talking to him a little bit for a while, and something that some people who have been involved in this with him know, but they weren't really going out in the public with this. Because on the surface, it's going to sound like people are going to roll their eyes and be like, really? Right. But a while ago, Mark said, we've been doing something really different and really unique. And everybody knows the EchoVox app. We've talked about the EchoVox app in the past. Well, he's a big user, a big fan of the EchoVox app, and he said that he was communicating with the late Ed Warren through the EchoVox app. And I was like, okay. He's like, I know how it sounds. But when they started getting this voice that was coming through claiming to be Ed, they brought it to John Zaffis,
right,
who is the nephew of Ed and Lorraine Warren. And John said, no, that's Ed's voice. And so now it's become an ongoing experiment with them, an ongoing communication. I shouldn't say experiment, an ongoing a series of communications with Ed, and they talk to him through this all the time. And so this was the first time that Mark's coming out and talking about that and talking about what has been happening with that. So I said, when we go down to the basement, Mark, you're going to bring EchoVox? And he's like, of course. And I'm just thinking we're going to just go down there and poke around because you had just been there a few months ago and saying, it's very active down there. There's jail cells down there. There was a fire at one point. There's all kinds of stories of things that people have encountered in the basement. So he turns on the EchoVox app, and something starts communicating with him immediately. I go and walk down this, I don't know, I guess they have records or something on a shelf, like not music records, but town records. And so we go into this room, and I can see a shadow kind of moving around. So I call Lauren in, and I'm like, Lauren, do you see that shadow too? And she's like, yeah, I can kind of see it, but it wasn't very pronounced. And so I start walking back there, and we're getting these outright cold spots. And the basement was pretty warm. Right. I mean, we were expecting it to be a lot cooler down there because it's a basement, but it wasn't.
86 degrees out.
Yeah, it wasn't cooler. And so we're getting these cold spots. So I'm like, well, it must be this air conditioning vent over my head. And Mark shines the light up there and he says, that's not an air conditioning vent. That's a light. That's a fluorescent light. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, then where are these spots coming from? And then there's a dehumidifier over in the corner. So I'm like, well, that must be kicking out some cold air or something. And he walks over. He's like, no, this is kicking out warm air because it's taking in the, that's. So I was like, okay. Then how do we explain this cold spot that just keeps moving all around? And now, meanwhile, through the EchoVox, they have Ed communicating with them. Right. So I'm like, well, is that the same Ed? And then that's the voice that we get. So we got to communicate with, I guess, Ed Warren in the basement of the Middleborough Town Hall.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, it was very cool.
I'd love to hear more about that and talk to Mark in length about his experience because, unfortunately, I had to miss his lecture, and I'm a little sad about it.
We'll have to have him come on, and we'll do a whole episode where we talk about what they've been doing.
Absolutely love to. And, I have to say...
That's one of those ones. We got to get them to come down for that.
Oh, I'd love to have them in studio.
Do that in person, and we'll try and do it right here.
No, that would be amazing. I got to briefly spend time with them at Salem Con, which they run, but to be able to spend time with them all day today was awesome, just to really get to know them. And
I told you, they're nice people, hilarious people.
I agree, absolutely. So I was excited for that. We had a great time today.
We were lucky. We had a room full of people that are very down to earth, very fun. We can all joke with each other and not take it too seriously. Right. Although I feel really bad for the people that were coming into the room and being like, what is going on in here?
Yeah, it was like a weird party that people were walking into. So
yeah, nobody wanted to come in
to
the room because they just thought that we were just having a little party over here.
Like a dressing room. So, Somebody asked us one point, is this a dressing room? We're like, no, come on in.
Yes,
hang out with us.
Well, and also they looked at it and they're like, well, there's a lot of Swedish fish in there. So
there was a lot of Swedish fish in there.
I was kind of disappointed you did not bring your gummy bears.
You know, I didn't have time to stop and get them, and I forgot that I had Swedish fish already packed in my
That's right.
bag.
You got up late this morning.
I didn't get up late. I just
She
Well, you
doesn't,
showed
she
up
doesn't
late.
get up late. She gets up on time, meaning to be there on time. It just doesn't happen.
I was awake at the right time.
Welcome to my life. That everybody was always like, "Why are you late to everything all the time?" Because life. I'm sorry. I mean to be on time, but I just show up late. And now
Listen.
Stephanie does the same thing.
From the time that I text you to say I'm still in bed to getting ready, going to Staples, getting those pictures printed, and getting there only 15 minutes late, that is a freaking miracle.
No, that's good.
You gotta admit that's fast.
But
Well,
considering
even
you
I turned
got
around-
sleep and I didn't.
I did not.
We did not get sleep. She was working on those photos till almost 2 in the
Oh,
morning.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. You did text me and tell me that.
And then I didn't fall asleep till maybe like 3:30. So
So you're right there.
And I was here. I worked like a 14-hour day yesterday.
yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to get up really early and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then I was like, yeah, no.
Well, I walk in,
Alarm
everybody
went
was
off.
so cheery this morning at 9:30. You know, there's Ken all happy, there's Cody, and there's Mark and Lauren all happy, and I'm like, oh, I'm so tired.
Well,
Listen, my energy drinks saved me today because otherwise I would have been sleeping under the table at some point.
could've
they
offered me one.
had to
could've taken
travel,
one.
so they'd already been up for a while. All you guys that had to actually drive, you
5
already
minutes.
had time to wake up.
Yeah, mine was like an hour and a half.
I used to work like a mile down the road from there, so I'm just used to still being half asleep driving down that road. So I think I just naturally just started dozing off.
I'm
as I was
literally
going.
10
You
minutes
stop
from
that.
there.
You are?
Yes.
I am not. I was about a half hour, but I got there on time.
I wonder. I see them talking about coming on and doing that. I wonder if we can get John to come in.
That would be awesome.
No, that would be amazing.
We
for
can at least
sure.
get him to call in. I'm sure.
No, I'm sure calling in, but I just
but
said,
if he's
well,
if he's around,
we'll have to do dinner first too if they're coming down.
yeah, we'll see if we can get him to come up.
There you go.
We'll let him stay on the couch in the
Oh, there you
in
go.
the lobby if he needs
For
a place
sure.
to stay. So we do have Sherry here, and
We do have
we
Sherry
should
here.
actually ask her some questions.
No, that's okay.
And if anybody wants to call in during the course of the show, 508-996-0500, 877-996-1420. You're from the North Shore area, right?
Yes.
Do you come down this way a lot?
I never do. I never
is that,
do.
Is it my fault?
Yes.
Is it because of me? 'Cause I can
there's-
leave.
I
We
heard you
totally
were in the
kidnapped her.
Vicinity, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to stick away. No, there's just really no reason for me to come down here, so I never do.
So first time in Middleborough or first time in some of these
Um,
places today, I'm sure.
It's probably the first time in Middleborough. I mean,
They have this
I
festival.
honestly don't.
I don't know if the sign note was it's coming up soon. They have this festival that they do every year called Middleborough Crazy Days, and people come from all over to go to this thing. So you might want to look into it. It might be worth coming back down for. It's Crazy Days with a K.
You guys going?
I don't
You're
know.
coming down.
Yeah, if you come down, we can all go.
As Wareham residents, we are fundamentally opposed to getting involved with Middleborough events.
Oh.
So generally, it's like a. It's,
Well, I'm
I
not
don't even know
going
if
by
this,
myself.
I don't even know if this is a real Wareham Middleborough war, but I'm certainly.
You're
I'm
keeping it
dying
going
on
by
that hill.
yourself. So
Yes, I was making Middleborough jokes all day. Hashtag Middleborough
Two
jokes.
Middleborough people.
Yes, of course.
I
Well, who am I
going to
make them to? Nobody
Yeah.
else is going to get it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nobody else is going to get
I
the
stayed in my
jokes.
own lane. Sherry and I had our own party in the corner.
Yeah.
It was safer that way.
As I get a text
We're always in a
message,
corner.
go get us wine.
Yes.
Go get us wine.
Well,
I
the best
joked.
part is you didn't have to go
Thank you.
far.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
he was already outside. So I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then I joked when he came in. I said, "My husband makes comments that I need to be nice because John treats me like a spoiled princess."
He does. It's kind of ridiculous. Him and I are going to talk about this. 'Cause he's giving you a huge head. Was it like a concert where they let you bring back like 2 drinks at a time?
Yep.
I
Nice.
could have brought more, probably. They didn't
Nice.
say anything.
Well, they looked at you and they're like, "Yeah, you can drink 17
have whatever
paper
you want."
cups.
Yeah.
These little
No,
plastic
that's
cups.
just
you a
how
bottle.
I treat any of my clients.
Right.
Same for Sherry, same for Tim, anybody.
That's why he said that you were you were a princess.
Didn't crack my back today.
Oh,
He's like, "That's because I can't lift you, fat ass." So, coming down to this area,
Yeah.
and that's what's great. I mean, all of New England really is we have all these great old haunts, and we've talked in the past about some around where you live, and we have some around here, and there's a lot of a lot of ways to kind of use the ghost stories to pick up on some of this history. And that's what today was about focusing on a forgotten history. I mean, the Oliver House, for example, I mean, people don't even know why it should be famous. And they don't understand the connotations of what went on there.
Which is crazy.
I mean, I know that you guys are probably familiar with it, but for the audience, if you're not familiar with it, this is where they found letters. Supposedly Ben Franklin, but that's up for debate. But supposedly Ben Franklin visited this house and found letters hidden in a closet that talked about talked about being loyal to the crown, and they put that family on trial for being traitors to the revolutionaries. In this closet that you can go into that still has the same wallpaper that it had when Ben Franklin went into that closet.
Which is crazy.
Do you not understand what I'm talking about? You can put your hand on the door handle that Ben Franklin touched.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's just something that I don't think people can appreciate and understand.
I definitely did. But I also am the biggest history nerd on the planet. So.
But you can't get that like if you are out in, California.
No.
We talked to friends that investigate other places, and you probably visited other places working on ghost hunters where people are like, oh, we've got great history here. This place is over 110 years old. You're like,
which is so crazy.
You're like, I have a dining room table that's 110 years old.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
take a drink of water.
It's
At
true
least you
though.
have
I mean,
some.
even Sherry, while she was there, she's like, I want to spend time in there and just see what I get because the history, that's in that room.
If anybody needs water, there's a machine out in the hallway.
There's none.
It's empty.
Yep.
And I'll change it. We'll take a break in a little while, and I'll change it.
Perfect, because I'm in need for sure.
I don't know who would have drained it out and not bothered to replace
weird.
it.
Who would have done that?
Wait, we're YouTube only? The guy that lives here, who never changes it, who leaves it empty.
You didn't hear me when I came in and said it needed to. To be changed up?
All right, we've now reached the portion of Spooky South Coast where we talk about snacks.
Okay.
There was a bag of Twizzlers. There's a lady here, a very nice lady, who stocks her desk up with snacks for everybody to share. And you know how there's always that one person who takes the last of something but doesn't take the last? Like leaves one. Somebody leaves like that one little sip of milk at the bottom so they don't have to throw it away. Or, they leave one cookie left in the package.
Yeah.
I walk in there, this giant bag of Twizzlers. There's 2 Twizzlers left in the bag. I'm like, come on, just eat the last 2. But these Twizzlers, I've never had these before. Mind-blowing experience. Creamsicle Twizzlers.
Ew.
Yeah, that doesn't even sound good.
No, they were very good.
No.
I haven't had them, but I can only imagine.
No.
Are you creamsple fans to begin with?
See, I am.
That's your problem. Yeah,
No.
exactly. I am too.
That's my problem.
Oh, then you might like.
Well, listen.
I make that in creamsicle.
Nice. Let me tell you, because I discovered this years ago. I don't know if they still do it, but because I think Dunkin' Donuts got rid of the culotta, right?
Yes.
So I used to go to Dunkin' Donuts. They always had the vanilla culotta, and they had the orange juice culotta.
Yes.
And I would tell them I want a creamsicle culotta. And they would whip it up, and I would go over to the liquor store, and I would get a nip of vodka, and I would just pour it in there, and that'd be like the perfect, like, sitting by the pool drink. Awesome.
Nice.
Just so good. It's like life hacks,
What's better, that or your half and half tea and lemonade?
Half and half tea and lemonade is the ultimate drink.
But is it better than your creamsicle drink?
No, the creamsicle drink is for having alcoholic beverages.
Yes.
Yeah, but you could do alcoholic beverages with the other one too.
No, I
Okay.
keep my half and half pure.
All right.
Yes, I take my half and half
Just had to
seriously.
clarify.
See, like I told him, since I make a nice creamsicle drink, I'll have to bring him some of that because you saw how everybody else liked my drinks up at Salem.
Oh,
The other.
Sherry and I just watched.
I know.
Yeah, we
But it
watched.
went quick though.
Nope. Can't.
It did go quick.
Sudan name just dropped the Peggy Lawton brownies in the chat room.
He did.
That was it's a memorable episode of Spooky South Coast where we were trying to remember those. You don't know the Peggy Lawton?
No.
You know the brownies. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. The Peggy Lawton brownies are those big square brownies that they used to have like next to the register at convenience stores.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Although I did hear that the Oliver House committee that had a table today was very smart because they put snacks out at their table. Cookies and brownies and cakes and everything.
I missed that memo.
Yeah,
And
I didn't
so-
see that either.
They
How
they
could
were
you
there.
missed it. You
Why
walked
didn't
right by
anybody
it.
call
I
us?
saw the
It was
wine.
right there.
Yeah, it was right in front, right behind the wine.
Okay.
And
I saw nothing.
they put out I guess they had brownies that were quadruple chocolate brownies that everybody was raving about. That's too much chocolate for me,
wow.
so I couldn't try one. But
I tried the marble cake.
yeah, we wanted
The
some
marble
marble cake.
cake was
It was
really good.
looking really good. I'm a big marble cake fan.
I got it early because I didn't know how it would be being out all day.
Right.
So I got it early at 10 o'clock this morning.
And then we were talking last week about the deal that I have with the Newkirks, with Greg Newkirk. I'm going to trade him Necco wafers for Skyline chili.
Really?
Yes, because he loves Necco wafers, and I love Skyline chili, and you can only get that in Cincinnati. And we have the Necco wafer factory here in Massachusetts. So, Sherry, you a Necco wafer fan? Me too.
I can't stand
I
them.
don't know how anybody can eat them.
I don't think I've
No.
ever
For anybody
had them.
that doesn't know, it's picture something the size of a communion wafer.
Mm-hmm.
Only says the guy who doesn't know anything about religion, but I know what a communion wafer is. So it's about the size of that, but it tastes like what little sweet there is in a sweet tart.
Nope.
Imagine they took that away,
Wow.
but it's not quite tart either.
So how can you be
Yeah,
obsessed
no,
with
it's
that?
not tart.
It's
definitely not
like
tart.
chalky.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like
very-
eating chalk.
We're gonna have to talk to Greg about this.
But no matter what color you get, there's multiple colors. They all taste the
Yeah,
same.
everything's
So what's the
same.
point?
But see, I solved that problem because I just dip it in milk.
Ew, no.
that-
You dip
Ew.
Necco wafers in milk?
Yes.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
That's gross.
Why do you
Are you
do
talking about?
that?
Are you talking about Nilla wafers?
Yes.
No.
no,
We're talking
no.
Necco.
Necco wafers.
Nilla wafers and milk is the ultimate.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No,
I will-
that's fine.
I thought that's what you meant, and
No,
you were just pronouncing it
I
wrong.
knew there was
No,
something
there's
wrong there.
those candies. They're in a roll. They're in a roll,
No.
right?
Yeah.
It comes in a
Yeah.
roll in wax paper.
Oh.
You know you're
Yeah.
You know it's going to be
It's-
shit when your candy is wrapped in wax paper.
Yes,
Yeah.
those things are nasty. I know what you're
Yes.
talking
Yes.
about.
No.
And they're
Disgusting.
multicolored in
Yeah,
the roll.
yeah.
Some of them
They're
are red,
faint
some are
color.
purple.
Yeah.
All right, do you want
Yeah.
do you want to hear my
Gross.
Nilla wafer
Yes.
thing? Okay, this is my
I don't
Nilla
know if I
wafer
wanna
life
hear
hack.
this.
This is what you do. You get a big glass of ice cold milk, but you only fill it about halfway.
You already went wrong.
All
You
right.
already went wrong. So
If you don't like milk, I can't help
No,
you. I don't
it's
really drink
disgusting.
milk, but milk is a must for this.
milk is gross.
So a big glass, fill it halfway with ice cold milk. Take Nilla wafers, dump them into the cup to fill the entire cup, so they are soaking up the milk.
No.
And then you just got a spoon. You just spoon them
No.
out.
Oh,
No.
so
that's a
good.
good idea.
What if you did that with ice cream?
Nilla wafer party. It would work really good with vanilla
I
ice
think-
cream. I love Nilla wafers and vanilla ice
I
cream.
think that would be better than
That
milk.
sounds better.
In fact, I think it
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
box. On the box of Nilla wafers, they have an ice cream that somebody stuck them all around. That's
Maybe,
Oh, see
yeah.
now
That sounds good.
Mark just came in hot and said they taste like the stick in the Fun Dips. That I can get on board with.
But
Is
you
that
know
true?
what though? I like the stick in the fun
So
dip.
do So
Well,
I
this
do like
conversation
that. Was
just took a
actually
real twist.
sweeter. That the stick is actually sweeter.
Okay,
And
all
it's
right.
not.
So you're wrong. Are you calling Mark out right now?
Mark, you know I love you, but it does have a different taste.
yeah, no, it's
'Cause if
yeah,
it-
it's I don't know. Like
If somebody just got me a
chalky, I don't
bag
know.
of the stick in the Fun Dips,
I
I would
like
be
that.
happy. Yeah,
I like
I do
Fun
like
Dips.
Mark's
Can
plan
we
too of using a
request that?
Twizzler as a straw.
at the next con.
Use the creamsicle Twizzler
John,
as a straw.
stick that in-
Creamsicle shit.
Stick that in our
You need to
contract.
Tell John.
Next
What-
time you contract us, we have to have an entire box of the stick from the Fun Dips.
I'll take the fun dip also.
Okay,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
I
so
like the
just
Fun
just
Dip
Fun
also.
Dip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Write that down.
Yeah,
I'm making a
Cassie-
memo now.
Cassie asked a question about the candy cigarettes in the chat room.
I don't think I've ever had one.
If the
Oh,
Nilla
that was a
wafer,
long
oh,
time
they were
ago.
definitely probably not okay by the time you were a
Yeah,
kid.
I don't think so.
Yeah, no.
Hey, listen.
I
I'm not that
remember
far
'em in-
behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were phasing them out when my siblings were younger.
Yeah.
I can't remember the taste though.
It was like sucking on. It wasn't. See, but those had a little bit of a sweetness to them.
Yeah.
Candy cigarettes.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did.
Do you? You guys might remember because you're a little older than Stephanie, but
Just a little.
just a little. But do you remember when they had those toy cigarettes
Yeah.
that you could actually smoke them and they would
and then
puff
they
out
smoke-
powder?
Yeah, the little smoke.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
You don't?
I do
No, I
remember
don't
that.
remember
those?
that.
He's
I
like,
don't.
he's like, I went right to the real thing. I didn't even
Yeah.
waste time
I
with
just
that.
went straight to the real ones.
He's like, I was 4. My mom's like, what do you want at the store? I'm like, a pack of Marlboro Reds. Give me some Luckies unfiltered. But no,
Yeah, I
they,
do remember that.
you would puff them, and they had this little
Yeah.
end of them that would light up red, like some little weird red thing that would
Really?
light up, and it would
little-
push out like this powdery smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, very weird. Okay, so that concludes.
Well, we just showed our age. Okay,
Right?
yeah.
Nope.
That concludes the snack portion of the show, at least for right now.
For
Something
right
else
now.
might pop up later.
Well, we didn't get to ask Sherry what is her go-to
Yes,
snack
we
on
will ask her.
investigations.
This is going to be our new question that we have to ask everybody.
We have to.
I know. I think we. I always have. Jesus, Gatorade. The fruit punch Gatorade. I always have that. And in the wafers, the cookie what are they called? They're wafers, not
Not
what we were just
Not
talking
Necco
about.
wafers, not
No,
Nilla
no,
wafers.
but like
Necco or
the
Nilla?
cookie wafers,
Not
like
communion
the
wafers.
like the vanilla
yeah.
vanilla wafers type of stuff. Is that what it's called?
No.
Vanilla wafers?
I know what she's talking about those
The
packages.
the
that have
rectangular
the
ones?
square
Yes.
ones
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the
Yes.
Oh yeah, those are
rectangle
good.
ones.
Yeah.
With like a cream in the middle and then like
Yes.
crispy.
Ew.
Yeah,
Yes,
those are pretty good.
because I need like that crunchiness. I need a sweetness, and yeah, I don't know.
So-
Every investigation. That's what I
Um,
have.
I know that in seasons past, before you were on the show, a big thing with some of the cast members was Virgil's root beer. That Tango and Grant, they used to get really excited for finding Virgil's root beer. Was there anything that was like kind of like a cast thing that they were always bringing to investigations, or something that they had to have?
Maybe during dinner time.
I know. I'm trying to think of what everybody's their little things were. Of course, I know Dustin always, everywhere we go, he has to have his little
Pie.
like all those little pie desserts and
Yes.
stuff. Everywhere he went.
The man should just buy stock in table talk.
Right.
Dunkin' Donuts and pies.
Yes. He's always at Dunkin' Donuts, that
yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in the commercial.
I know.
This is true.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know of anybody else. It was always him with his pies. That's the only thing that I can come up with. But you have the snack tables and stuff. So we're always hanging out.
Well, maybe on the shows you work on.
Yeah, we had our big snack tray. So they had everything, even vegetables and fruit. We try to be healthy every now and then too.
I did we did an episode of Haunted Towns, and I went and I hung out while they were filming, and I walked into where they had kind of the home base set up, and they had a whole bunch of food, like all laid out, like all different snacks, like even like there was like a box of ring pops.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? Like, what person is going to walk around? And I'm sure that when you watch the episode, you'll probably see the cast members walking around with ring pops on their hands.
Oh,
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I
If
wouldn't be
somebody
surprised.
brought me a box of ring pops, I would be happy.
You don't need a box of ring pops. You just need one.
No, you need multiple.
It takes forever.
When?
No, it doesn't.
You have 5 fingers.
Hell yeah.
So my dad used to always, when we went up the Blue Hills, he would always go to the store and he would get us ring pops and Slim Jims. And that's what he would like stick in a backpack. And he's like, because if we end up having to get stuck on top, it's a small little hill. It's not a mountain. He's like, but if we get stuck on the mountain, we're going to live off ring pops and Slim Jims until somebody comes and rescues us.
I always loved Slim Jims.
I've never had a Slim
Oh
Jim.
my god! And I
that weird?
I don't eat them anymore. But oh my gosh, I always ate
I won't
them.
even get into the gross story. All right. I will for the sake of the audience. You guys are going to get grossed out by this. But my brother and I used to have a contest whenever we go to Slim Jim to see who could keep chewing it the longest.
Stop it.
And to see, like, who finally has to say, that's enough. I can't keep this thing in my mouth anymore. And we would go for a long, long time.
Gross.
We would actually, we'd allow ourselves a break while we were sleeping.
You know
And
what?
take it out.
Are you serious that long?
Put it on a napkin next to the bed and then put it back in the next day. Oh, yeah.
Ah.
And it would just turn white and stringy and gross.
Ooh.
And
So-
Would you swallow it after?
No,
usually
stop. Nope.
usually.
Oh,
But-
God.
You know what?
No, but
You know what? That is just as bad as wet willies. Okay?
you could
And
I wouldn't
aliens.
go that far.
you could
Yes.
you could swallow it
That
because
is-
it would break up into like small pieces. So like
That's
it
making
wasn't like
me
you're
wanna barf.
it's not like you're swallowing one big chunk of it at one point. It would just eventually like string off and break up.
Nope.
You know,
Not okay.
But it lasted a long time.
What is the longest time?
I don't know. It was at least a couple of days.
Wow.
Take
So
it out.
after a couple days, and you'd still.
Take it out at meal times. Take it out when you're sleeping. I mean, we would only do it in the summertime because it would be weird to be
Oh
doing
yeah,
that at
that'd be
school.
weird.
It's not already, right?
No, one
Yeah,
time we did
yeah.
it during Christmas vacation. I remember one time we did it during Christmas vacation. But yeah, and and we never thought to just take it would always be like one bite. We're like, what if we just put the whole Slim Jim in our mouth, it would last longer, but we didn't. We weren't that smart. The Slim Jim challenge, they say.
Hey, I still say we got to do
Gross.
that other challenge that we talked about a long time ago.
Which one?
The Quahogs?
We did the Quahog one.
No, like me and
Oh
you.
yeah,
like
no, I'm done with the Quahog challenge. You can do it. I'm done with it.
There will
I
be.
still think I can eat 6 of them in 6 minutes.
Danny will take you up on that challenge. Danny Minkle, if you're listening, Minkle Boys Catering. We have somebody who thinks he can beat the time.
Because I feel like we both have disgusted faces on.
Do it. Like,
Do you
throw
like-
it.
Anybody watching? Let us know.
Do you like stuffed Quahogs?
No.
I don't think I've ever had one.
No.
Do you-
I don't even
I
know
haven't
what it
either.
is.
Do you like
because it's
clams?
seafood. No.
As long as it's. Oh, you always cooked clams, right? It's not like it's.
No,
I
you
don't
can-
like.
I mean,
That's
you
not
can eat
raw.
raw
That's
clams.
That's
not
not-
what you're thinking of. Like,
Okay.
um,
Oh, is it?
So a Quahog is like a big clam.
yeah.
Like when you open it up, it's like this big, like gross.
Kind of like an oyster.
It looks like a.
Yeah, I
Stop
got it.
it.
I got it. I got it.
So it does. There's
Which
no
is
other way.
one of the reasons why I don't
But
got it.
what you do is you take that and you chop it up fine, and then you mix it in with the stuffing, and then you take the stuffing and you put it into the shell, and then you bake it in the oven.
And called stuffed Quahog.
Yeah, some people call them stuffies, but it's a stuffed Quahog.
Does it taste like?
It tastes like you're eating stuffing with like
does it
clam
taste
flavor.
Like, oh, clam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
So
but
I
you
probably would like, as long as it's cooked.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
is
eat
no,
raw
it's
stuff.
like roasted, baked in the oven, and you put butter on it. You
Ooh.
put hot sauce
Yes.
on it if you want. You can put hot sauce. What else do people put on them?
I know what you were
Charisse, they
thinking of,
mix
little
in
necks,
a lot.
where people eat the little necks raw. That isn't what this is.
No, or cherry stones, right?
Yeah,
That's
cherry
what it
Yeah, I
is.
stones.
don't like
This is
that.
this is
isn't
it's
like that.
very finely chopped and it's mixed in. And like Stephanie was saying, they'll put in other meats. Like some people use sausage, some people use Portuguese sausages like linguiça, chorizo,
Oh, I love that stuff.
and they'll mix it all in together and they stuff it into. And I think Danny uses chorizo in his.
Nope.
They mix it all together into this with this stuffing and stuff it on the shell, bake it off, and then you eat them warm. Like you put the butter on it, the butter melts, hit it with some hot sauce. So this guy that we know, we've been doing food challenges here at the station and making videos. So this guy says he makes the biggest ones around and that nobody can eat 6 of them. So we said, all right, we'll take that challenge, myself and another person that works at the station. So he comes in with these 12 gigantic stuffed Quahogs. And so we just start eating them to see like who can do it. And I think I tapped out after like 4. I just couldn't do it.
Oh,
There was too
wow.
many.
That's what they look like.
Oh.
And Gazelle ended up eating all
that
6
looks
and
good.
I think it was like
That looks
13
good.
minutes, 12 or 13 minutes.
Really.
So you think you can beat that time? Is that what it?
I'm willing to bet I could do 6 of them in 8 minutes or less.
That's tough. Just don't do
Gross.
the hot wing challenge that we did.
No.
I won't eat chicken wings on a bone. I've told you, like today
Well,
when we were talking about food, I'm wicked
Even if they
fussy.
could get you boneless ones, do not do it.
Oh, I've done the Wendel's.
The one that
They call them suicidals.
I've done those too.
Yeah.
1 bite.
I was able to finish all 4.
Oh, Matt and I went there. I took 1 bite out of them, and I was like, "That's it." And then we brought them back to the restaurant that we worked in and put them in the fridge in the kitchen.
Oh,
And the
no.
next day, one of the dishwashers, you know how like hot stuff gets more spicy when it's in
Yeah.
the fridge? So the next day, one of the dishwashers is like, "They can't be that hot." So he takes it out and he starts eating it. And because it's been in the fridge, you don't get that heat right away.
But
so
it
he
intensifies when
he
it goes
ate the
down.
whole chicken off the bone.
Oh no.
And then, no, they were boneless because I remember the lady bitching at me that she couldn't do boneless suicide wings because she didn't want to be responsible.
Yeah.
And so he ate the whole thing, and like he was like,
Oh yes. No, they were ridiculous.
but what we did is we made it worse because when you go and you get those, it's one spice.
Mhm.
It's one recipe that you're trying 4 times. We said we're going to try 1 each of 4 of the hottest wings on the South Coast. So 1 was ghost pepper, 1 was Carolina Reaper. So there are all these different concoctions of sauces, and I will go on record right now as saying like Carolina Reapers they're Reapers because they rip apart your stomach. Like I just could feel it like tearing.
I have not tried those.
Worst feeling ever. Matt, are those one of the ones that you grew? Did you grow Reapers? Okay, because I don't know if anybody should ever do that. Like I'd be afraid of you just touching them to pick them. But yeah, so
Well, I imagine that's going to
Warning.
hurt if you rub your eyes afterwards.
And then there was always
And
that chicken
coming
finger.
out.
Yeah.
the chicken nugget one too for McDonald's. Somebody said eating like 20 pieces of chicken nuggets in like 3 minutes.
Yeah, so when I was on the cruise, some of my old friends from high school were doing a McNugget challenge, and they were like trying to get me to go into it, and I was like, I'm not going to be here, and I'm not sure I would do it, even if I was. I used to polish off a 20 nugget, no problem. Now I get like 4 in, I'm like, whoa, that's enough.
I don't think I could do 20, but I used to do 10.
Well, while we are still on the subject of food, we will talk about ghosts, I promise.
Oh, good.
We got another whole hour to the show.
But while we're talking about food, what sauce, Stephanie, for McNuggets?
What sauce?
Yes.
Do you really need that answer? Or you want me to just tell the audience because you already know?
No, tell the audience. I'm not asking for my benefit. I'm asking for theirs.
Ranch.
They have ranch at McDonald's?
Yes.
Okay. Sherry, what sauce for you for McNuggets?
Ranch with chicken McNuggets?
Yes.
Wow.
Ranch is delicious with everything.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yes.
She should just move to Hidden Valley.
I do, believe it or not, I do put ranch or blue cheese on my pizza.
Yes, ranch on pizza.
General pizza
Yes.
or like buffalo chicken
No,
pizza?
general.
No, any
Even if
pizza.
I get sausage or pepperoni, I'll put it on.
I'll tell you my pizza topping.
Go ahead.
Ah.
Sherry.
Well, we
Okay,
got to do nuggets
so-
first.
Yeah, nuggets. Either the sweet and sour or the barbecue.
Sweet and sour all the way for me. I can't do the barbecue.
You're all wrong. You all gave the wrong answer.
Are you going to say like the Mulan sauce or something?
Do they even still have that?
I don't think so.
Honey mustard?
Hot mustard.
Really?
The McDonald's hot mustard, you will not go wrong with that. Give it a try. It's got just enough, like, a little bit of kick. It's not really hot. It has a little bit of a kick, but it has a good mustardy taste, and it's phenomenal with the McNuggets. And even when they used to have those, like, really crappy, like, dark meat nuggets,
Yeah.
like, they thankfully got rid of those, but at least it would hide the taste. And you will like that so much to the point where you will put it on your McChicken sandwiches. Like, it's that good.
Maybe something
Right.
new to
Maybe
go on top
even-
of pizza.
You may even
No.
put it.
Today.
You may even put it on your McGangbang.
Oh my God.
You guys have never had a McGangbang?
No.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Here we go.
Oh boy, we're falling down
Well,
this hole.
now that you've got them going,
Anybody in the chat room ever had a McGangbang?
have you actually ordered one
Yes.
and said those words?
Yes.
Okay.
And they gave it to me at the Wareham McDonald's. They knew
Really?
exactly what I was talking about. And then
All
another time I asked for one and they told me no. When I tried to get one for my son, they're like, "We don't know what that is." I was like, "Just give me a McChicken and a McDouble." So you go to the McDonald's and you get a
This is gonna be bad.
McDouble and a McChicken. And this was great when they reach $1 because this is like the ultimate $2 sandwich that you can get. So you get the McDouble and the McChicken. You know how the McDouble has the two patties with the one piece of cheese in the middle? You open up between the two patties of the McDouble. You take said McChicken and you put the entire sandwich, bread and all, on top of one of those patties, and then you put the rest of it on top of that,
Oh my God.
and you eat this all together. So you have an entire McChicken sandwich with the bun in between the two burgers of a McDouble. And then you just start eating it. And it is, when you're drunk, it's like the best thing you can
And
possibly.
what's that called?
The McGangbang. It's better. You will love that more than David Hasselhoff loved that floor cheeseburger. Like, it is awesome.
Gross.
So the
You know, and the funny thing is, we were at
Wareham will make you
McDonald's
another
today.
deluxe.
We were at McDonald's today.
I wish I would have
because
heard of this. I would have tried it.
I thought
Well-
you knew.
No, I've never heard of that.
There's one down the street that's open 24 hours. So after the show, you can get a
Yeah, there
McGangbang
is.
on your way home.
I
Can you
already
get
ate
extra cheese on it though?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
But like, you're gonna do extra cheese. You can get
extra
it on a regular.
cheese, lots of pickles.
No pickles.
There's a lot of like secret menu items at McDonald's.
Really?
There's the air, land, and sea burger.
What?
That's where you.
That is
you
disgusting.
get-
I
don't
can
even-
already
It's-
guess. That's
it's a-
probably
it's-
has the fish, the burger.
It's a Big
Don't
Mac
do
with
it.
the chicken and the fillet
Yeah.
of fish in it. But I don't think you have to put the bread in it. I think it's just you stack the 3 patties on top of it.
and they'll make that.
Some places will. Some places won't. Some places will make you buy the sandwiches separately and you have to make it. They'll know what you're talking about, but they make you do it on your own.
Wow.
I guess there's like secret menu stuff for every fast food place that people have invented. So, yeah, the McGangbang. Give it a try. I highly recommend it. But pizza, we were talking about pizza toppings. So
Yeah, we're back to pizza.
when
now.
we were in school and they had those like back when we went to school, kids, you could have pizza, but they have that like cardboard like Ilios type
yeah.
pizza. So my favorite thing to do, because at our school they sold hoodsie cups for dessert, I would take the hoodsie cup and I would spread it all over my pizza, and I would eat it like that. For some reason, it was good.
Are you kidding me right now?
You come on.
What is wrong with you?
Do you dip fries in a Frosty?
No.
Well, good night, everybody. We have to
Yeah,
go
good
over to
night.
Wendy's
Sorry.
before it closes. You have to dip fries in a Frosty. It's so
Hey,
good.
I'm literally getting text messages from people listening right now going, ooh, with nasty green faces, and other ones questioning what the F going on
Listen,
with your McGangbang.
folks, I am not a slender gentleman. Okay? This is how I've lived my life for a long time. And now I'm paying the price for it, but okay. So getting back to ghosts.
Oh, ghosts. But you know what? Ghosts and pizza go hand in hand.
That's true.
You
We
gotta
talked
eat
about
when
that
you're
today.
investigating.
I have to. That's what I live off of, is an entire
That's why she
giant
does what
pizza
she does.
to myself. Anybody that's ever done any type of event with me and I'm doing readings, you know I put down a large pizza myself. It's the truth. I can't. But
I think, though, that bears out some of the fact that when you are doing this, especially doing what you're doing when you're giving the readings, but, you know, investigations take extra out of you. They take extra energy from you. They take
Right.
extra. So you kind of want that carb load. You kind of want something sugary or sweet. You want that caffeinated drink because when you're there, it is draining. And we know all about, I mean, we've had some TV experiences, but we know all about kind of what the draining experience is of just doing an investigation. It must be even harder when you're doing it for a television show because you're trying to give your all for the investigation, but you also have to worry about taking the audience along for the ride as well.
right. So basically entertaining.
A long day.
Right. Well, we're going on what? How many hours now? 15, 16?
And that's, you know, almost sometimes that you're doing a day.
Yeah.
You know, so when you're
For sure.
going out, you know, you start anywhere. You know, of course, it depends on daylight saving time and you know and all of that stuff. But you know, if you're going out between, you know, between I'll say like 2 to 5, you know, you're at least doing a 12-hour day.
Right.
And sometimes you can do 14, 15 hours, you know, of course, you know, depending on activity. If activity is going good, you're going to just stay
You're
there.
just going to ride it out, yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a long day, and you feel like you're just snacking
I mean,
most of the day.
By the time you came into the show, though, they had a format to some degree. You know, they had an idea. They probably had a plan of attack of how to best go about filming an episode and filming an investigation. So you know you didn't have to go through a lot of that feeling out process that the whole cast did early on in the Ghost Hunters run. Was it easy for you to kind of come into that and jump into what they were doing already, or was it like, oh, everything that I thought I knew about how to do this has completely been changed now?
No, actually, it was, you know, the first few times just to see how they do the whole show. You know, you know, it's pretty much exactly the same. You know, with every show, with, you know, okay, now we're gonna do the truck shots, and then we're gonna do this and that. You know, and do the whole security meetings, and you know, so like every little thing, which is, you know, some of the 12 to 15 hours. You know, that's all in together. But, you know, just a couple of days just to figure out what their schedules are. And you know, you just get into it. Investigation-wise, excuse me. Well, first of all, you know, I mean, obviously, like, I've known Jason forever. I've known Grant forever. So, obviously, I watched the show, you know. So, I mean, I kind of knew what their little thing was just by watching the show. But I talked to them a lot about what we did, you know, what they did. So that was nice and easy because at least I knew part of the crew going in. But doing things like putting the, what do you call it? The video things together and all that stuff.
I said, don't look at me.
I never really did. Well, you know, I'm like pointing to this.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I never really did any of that. So, but they actually helped me a lot. They were just, you know, they took their time. This is what we need to do. Sometimes it took me a long time to put like the, you know, the video on top of the, I can't even talk right now because it's late. The tripod, you know, like putting it like all together and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, you know, and so I just felt like I was taking up time because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. But they were fine. You know, they were just like, you know, I mean, you know the crew. They're awesome. You know, they pretty much put me down that road of exactly what I'm supposed to do and where to put these cameras and all, and all
You
of
kind of
that.
already got the way that you want to investigate because you were investigating before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, the way that I investigate is pretty much almost kind of the same way as them. I mean, obviously, like the debunking and disproving and all of that. I pretty much did the same thing. I do when we go in for like when we pair off to everybody, because I'm the last person there. I kind of ride their coattails just to see how they investigate. Each person does a little investigation, a little bit different. So I'll go in there and investigate with them and just kind of feel out how they did it, just so that we can kind of work together, and it's just, nice and smooth and kind of feed off of each other a little bit better. So it was a little bit different with each person. But overall,
Just so everybody's aware, we're on the radio now, so no swears.
So behaving now?
oh, so
Do
every
you think he was just facing the wrong way, Ben Carson?
That's right, I fixed that.
oh, Ben Carson. Yeah. So I don't know. I just it did seem like a smooth transition. I think I was more intimidated and
but it's
nervous.
It's different though because like you've done investigations and you've had experiences and things have happened and you've kind of been able to take a step back and think about it while it's happening. But it's a different story when somebody grabs you and says, "Okay, come over here now, and we want to film you telling us exactly what just happened." Unless you're doing your OTFs later. But.
Right. No, we usually do it like right, like so you spend your hours or whatever in a room and do your investigations. And then after that, then we'll do the OTFs.
Which, for anybody that doesn't know, when you see like they have somebody pulled aside and they ask them, so what just happened, and you're kind of explaining what it was. It's still when it's fresh in your mind, but so at least they weren't taking you out of the moment to have to do that.
Oh yeah, I know. In the show, it looks like that.
Right.
It looks like they're pulling
and some shows
you
do
out,
want to pull you out in the moment and get it right
yeah,
then and there.
Which I don't think is like when you're in the moment, you want to keep doing and
I just want to do what I'm doing.
Yes. But yeah, so after we're finished with that portion, then they'll pull us aside and then we'll do our interviews. So yeah, of course that's a little different. Doing investigations with the cameras right here. I wasn't used to that, so that took a little time to get used to.
Somebody's like following you around now, and
yeah, and I mean, I used to be, because I wasn't used to it. We'd be walking into a building, and I'd open up, or the person would open up the door in front of me. One of the other investigators, and then they would open up the door for me. Well, I would open it up for the camera guy. I'd be like, here you go. They're like, no, Sherry.
Yeah,
They're like,
we're not here.
Don't worry about me.
We're not here.
Like, oh yeah, okay. So we had to shoot it again. I mean, I always forget.
Well, I think one thing that I do think is that I would love to see everybody that's involved in an investigation do like one TV show one time so that they all know the proper volume level. Like once you do a level check, they're like, okay, don't whisper now. Like talk in that voice all the time. And that's something that like people are like, oh, well, that's TV interfering on the investigation. No, that's how you should be talking on the investigation too. Like it drives me crazy when people like drop their voices and start whispering like, no, stop doing that because I'm going to think that that's something else. Even if I'm not recording an EVP session, I'm going to hear a whisper. Just keep it outright. If you're talking crap about me, that's fine. Let me hear you talk crap about me.
I'm bad at that because when I'm filming, I'm reading. So I tend to not really talk to myself, but kind of talk to myself before I say what I have to say to whoever I'm talking to. So that's been a really bad habit of mine.
Don't whisper, man.
Yeah.
No.
Don't whisper. That's the worst thing.
Nope. But
Well, farting is the worst thing.
Well,
Whispering
don't do
close
that.
to.
Actually, no. I'd rather have somebody do that.
what?
I'd rather
What?
have somebody do that,
Well,
at least because you know what it is.
That's true.
But with
unless they're
whispering,
that.
no,
No.
there's no hiding it. But at least you know.
Like
but with
today in that
whispering,
hallway.
you're like, was that a person? Was it not a
Somebody did that?
person?
Yeah, you weren't there for that?
No.
Somebody farted in the hallway today at that Paracon. I
No.
almost died. It was so bad.
Glad I wasn't out there.
It probably was
Oh, I
not me,
didn't know.
but I'm not 100% sure. So
And
here's
most pubes.
we do have a question from the chat room.
Yes.
Is somebody wants to know how much of the mainstream TV show stuff is pre-scripted and how much of it is edited after the fact? This is a question that we've been talking about,
We have.
for 11 and a half years now. How much of this is scripted going in? And I don't think people understand the fact that it's not scripted.
Right.
Right.
correct.
Like, we don't call it reality TV. We call it unscripted TV.
Right.
Because in actuality, what's going on isn't necessarily real. It's not real because it's not, 14 hours of nothing happening footage. We're kind of giving you the condensed version of what went on and
Yeah.
kind of the best of moments. Like, for example, if this is a way that I kind of describe it to people. Say Ghost Hunters is your favorite band. You don't like every single song that your favorite band is going to play in concert. I mean, there's a good time you're like, "Ugh, I'm kind of tired of hearing this one."
Yeah.
We're going to do a cover song. Like, why? I don't want to hear you do somebody
Right.
else's song. So like sometimes you say, I wish I could just get just the songs that I want to hear. And so that's kind of what it is with an episode is you're getting just what they want you to see of what happened because they know that you're not going to care about the rest of the stuff
Right.
that didn't happen.
People. A lot of people get upset, of the things that might have happened or whatever. They don't understand, why aren't you guys talking about this? Why aren't we talking about that? Describing something or going to actually see what something is. We actually do all of that, but how many hours are you filmed? And
Right.
they just don't, like we're at least at a piece of property like for at least 2 days. So just say if it's the 12 hours a day, that's 24 hours just in those 2 days. But you still have to do all the, the beginning stuff, where all the reenactment stuff, just so that they can get, the story, the history, and stuff like that.
And that part is scripted, just so that people realize
Right,
somebody has
the
written all
beginning.
that out to have it make sense.
Right. So that the histories,
You need some type of foundation, though.
Right.
Something to
Right.
work off of.
Right.
That's the entire reason why you're there. If
Right,
there's no
with the
story,
history,
then
right.
When you're
There's nothing
when
to
you're
do.
getting all that stuff at the beginning, like that's not just randomly somebody talking about it off the top
Yeah.
of their head. Like Jason doesn't go into every location knowing its complete history. Somebody has
Right.
provided him with their experience and their stories, and they say that. They say,
Yeah.
we heard from people that this is what happens.
Right. And then so you take all of those hours and then condense it into only 43 minutes, and people just don't understand, yeah, we did go and look. Like you feel like you have to explain every little thing because of all the little messages, no, we did that and we did that. We did that. Well, how did you know that noise? Because we went to go and look. It didn't show you, but we really went to go and look.
At least you got
Yeah.
43 minutes, and you got to work with all that. Unlike the early seasons, when out of that 43 minutes, 12 of it was Jason or Grant telling us what an EVP is again and again. I still do that to Grant. Every time I see him, I'm like, Grant, do it. Grant, tell me. Grant, tell me. EVP is electronic voice phenomenon. Just, like, they used to have to do it all the time.
All the
Now they don't
time,
have to
yeah.
because the audience is savvy to it now.
Yeah.
So we just had somebody say in the chat room, it may not be scripted, but networks own you and you can't be yourself, correct?
No, that is not
That
true.
is not.
No.
That
Not
is
true.
not correct.
In my own personal experience, not at all.
If they didn't want you to be yourself, why do they need to have you?
Right, because
Yes.
they could just plug somebody into that role or hire an actor, but no,
Absolutely.
they hire you for
Ideally,
your personality.
Listen, let me tell you something. From the person who works on the other side of it, having real people that are investigators is the worst thing. Because it would be so much easier to just work with actors and make everything up.
right.
Yeah.
And it would just be so much easier to produce, and you would see it. There'd be a lot more shows like that because it would be easier for companies to do, and so they'd want to do it. Using real people who have real experiences and real interactions and real ideas and real theories and real approaches and differing approaches is what makes it interesting.
Right. And then you have clashing personalities on top of it, which creates some type of
You
drama.
know, another thing though is there's two different types of paranormal shows out there too that
Right.
people have to realize. There is a per se scripted version.
Well, the
and then there's
recreation shows,
The
yeah.
recreation,
Right.
My Ghost Story, A Haunting, The Haunted, Paranormal Witness. Those types of shows, yes, those are scripted.
But hold on now, because they're not scripted,
well,
but they're crafted.
yes.
Is probably a better way to say it.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
So
They're crafted.
when you're on My Ghost Story sharing your experience about
Yep.
the S.K. Pierce mansion, you're telling what really happened to you there.
Yes.
And they're kind of building the story of that
Yes,
what they're telling
around what
around
I'm
your
telling them.
truth.
Yes.
So the story is still real and
It's
it's still
still real.
legitimate, but they're just taking that and using that as a launching point for a narrative.
Yes. Yes. And
Which-
so there's that different type versus like doing like Real Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures or Ghost Lab, Ghost Asylum, whatever. Those types of shows.
But the investigative shows, I think, and you're starting to see those fall by the wayside because the networks like the stories with the recreations and the narratives better. But because it's so hard to have a fresh angle on. See, it was easy for Ghost Hunters because they were the first.
Right.
So by being the first, you can kind of follow that vision the whole time. Everybody else has to be like, now what do we have to do to be different than Ghost
Right.
Hunters? And that's where we've seen some shows that have come and gone very quickly because they're trying too hard to be different. And that's where you see those different personalities that come out and you say, well, can these personalities carry a show? Because ultimately, and I say this all the time, and I know that people get mad, television networks don't care if ghosts are real.
No.
Television networks don't care if you discover whether or not ghosts are real. They just care about if people are going to tune in and be enthralled by your investigation of it. So
Right.
people talk about this whole genre of paranormal TV and what it is that you're doing, but what you're doing is no different than ice road truckers or the guys who try to shoot guns in ridiculous ways. Like everything is just somebody with a unique niche thing that they do and people watching that unique niche thing and how it works.
Right.
So like, and that's the other thing. And I'm sure you hear this a lot of where, I as a paranormal investigator, I just feel like these shows aren't really made for me. They're not made for you. Why do you
No.
want to watch somebody do on TV what you do anyway?
Yeah.
Right.
A doctor doesn't go home and watch reruns of ER.
Right.
I
Hope
think
not.
Yeah, right?
Because all you're going to do is
honestly-
pick it
yeah.
apart and say, that's not how I would do it.
Yeah.
I think the only ghost show that I ever did watch was maybe the first 2 seasons of Ghost Hunters, and that was it.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was before
I
you
don't
were really
even-
doing
yeah.
it on a
Sure.
regular
Disappointed
basis.
in you.
Why?
I figured you would at least watch me.
I didn't watch you.
John,
But
I-
yeah,
I-
but yeah,
sorry.
she did. Did you
I
watch my episode yet?
forced you
Did
to
you
watch
watch
mine.
it? You better go watch it. That's
You-
what I get from
listen,
her.
As my agent and representing me, you need to know what you're selling, right?
No, you're right.
So
You're right.
that makes sense.
See, I made sure I watched Sherry all the time. I made sure I watched Tim on
Because-
Southcoast and
And
everything he's
I don't
done.
think you've ever seen me do readings.
Yes, I have.
When?
When we went to your old shop on
John, we're on the radio. You got to talk in the microphone.
when
now.
when we went to your old shop on a Cushion and F.
Nope, that wasn't me.
I didn't
in the
get one
middle.
from
Who are
you.
you taking
Somebody
to her
else
shop
did.
when she's
Nope.
not around?
Listen, let's just not go there.
Yeah, let's not go
Yeah,
there.
Let's
No,
not
no,
go
no.
there.
I thought.
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
okay.
So see, you had to watch my show
Okay.
to get the full effect.
Okay.
So point proven.
Yep. Point
I
proven.
if it makes you feel better, I maybe watched the first 2 minutes of your episode and then I tuned out, and it had nothing to do with you.
I do.
So-
I do watch you when you're on shows, John.
I appreciate
I
it.
have seen Sherry on TV though because I tuned into that episode to watch myself.
Just that one
Right.
episode
See?
because she
Yeah,
wanted to see
just
herself.
because she was on there.
But
Yeah.
when she was
I
on
was-
very briefly at the beginning and said, "All right, that's enough."
Yeah, and I didn't even
Uh,
know that she was on there
no.
until we were.
Stay in the same hotel room.
Yeah, we won't go there either.
All right. Let's back this up a second. Can you picture
We're on the
these
radio.
two
We're on the
all
radio.
weekend? Oh, I
Be
am.
good.
I'm not going to say nothing.
Whatever you're picturing, John, they can
No,
only get the
these
rest of us
two
in trouble.
all weekend at 4 o'clock in the morning drinking wine, okay, and being so silly the way that they are.
We were up till 5.
I know, but I'm saying at least 4 o'clock in the morning. It was pretty crazy with these two.
So
No, listen.
We
We're
like to have a
we're
good time.
perfectly fine, perfectly innocent. There's halos above our heads. We're good.
just light making out, light,
You
no
stop it.
tongues. So they're laughing way too hard at that.
Because was it Jay? Jay was making comments about that, joking around and telling
Yeah.
people that we were sleeping together that night, and we told people that they'd have to pay for a live stream.
So there's a serious question in the chat room. Sherry, somebody wants to know if you have reached any conclusions about the paranormal based on your investigative experiences.
Throughout, I mean, I've been doing this since the 90s. with all of my experiences, my personal experiences, whether investigating or not, just because I've had a lot of personal experiences, at home and stuff. I definitely believe in ghosts, in spirits. I mean, with all the experience, let me see. From being touched, I mean, I've seen them, I've felt them, I've heard them.
Have you
I've
made
had
any
every experience, but
kind of determinations as to what you think that they are? Like, not even anything that you have like proof of that you can say, here's why I think it's this, but just, do you feel like you're dealing with a disembodied soul? Do you think you're dealing with a thought form? Do you think you're dealing with something that was never human?
I don't know if I've ever encountered something that was never human, per se.
So you think these are...
I don't know. I guess I always felt like who I encountered were... oh God, I don't even know how to describe it. But I don't know. I mean, I do believe in like guardian angels and stuff like that. I definitely believe in that. I definitely seen family members. So, when I see people that I've known, I mean, I know that they were here and now they're, I know that they've passed and now, I see them in front of me. So I just think that they, I guess that my experiences would be, because I don't know.
I kind of know what you're saying. And Stephanie, you might think, kind of along these lines a little bit maybe with your abilities. But like, I almost feel like when it is somebody that when it is a loved one that's around you, like it's not a ghost.
Right.
So like if all of a sudden you're sitting in your house and your grandmother comes into the room and starts talking to you, if you pull out a K2 meter, it's not going to make a difference because it's not.
It's because you welcome it. That's why. It's not an unfamiliar feeling to you.
But I welcome any ghost of any place that I go into, and I can still
so it's
try to take physical readings of it.
The way that I describe it, especially in my classes, especially when I teach, whether it be intuition or Reiki, when you enter a room of people that you do not know, like if you go into a party, you automatically walk in and you kind of scan the room and immediately, I'm going to like this person. I'm not going to like this person. I don't know how I feel about this person. And then you almost feel nervous because even though like you might be a complete extrovert, but walking into a room full of people, you have that unfamiliar feeling of walking in. So it's the same thing with a spirit that you are unfamiliar with. It gives you that feeling. Now, if you walk into your own party with people that you invited, you like everybody, it's a warm, welcoming feeling.
But you're talking about a feeling. I'm talking about being able to take a physical measurement. I'm talking about actually having it be something that is quantifiable. And I think almost like for example, if it is a loved one who comes into the room, all right, we're deep. We're sitting in my living room, and the guy who used to live in the house that I've never met, that I don't know, but he died in the house, say, whatever. We'll make the narrative whatever people want it to be. But we're sitting in there, the three of us, four of us, five of us, we're all sitting on my couch. The dead landlord the dead homeowner walks in and is standing in the room, and everybody, do you see that? Yeah, I see that. But if we're all the same of us sitting in the room and my grandmother walks into the room, I'm like, does anybody else see that? There's a good chance that nobody else does. Because it's not, it's almost like
they can choose.
We have a wavelength that can't be, like we have a wavelength that's kind of like a direct path to those loved ones. Which is why sometimes like you would say, I have these dreams all the time where they visit me. Or, I just get this feeling when my grandmother's around me, or I get this feeling when my mom's around, or whoever it is that you've lost. It's different than something that you can say, oh, every time that I pull out my K2 meter, I know it's my grandmother.
Okay, so what you're describing too could also be looked at as a difference between something that has crossed over and something that's earthbound. So that comes into question.
But they should both be quantifiable.
No, I know, but what you're describing is the reason why not everybody is feeling your grandmother a certain way is because she's crossed over and she's only coming to you. Whether she's in the room or not, people aren't feeling it the same way that they would feel an earthbound spirit who is trying to communicate in a way with cold spots or, manifesting and all that. It's very, very common, almost to a T with those two experiences.
If somebody comes to see somebody and it's something that's meant just for them, do you still see it?
Yeah.
Like even if the rest of us wouldn't experience it, like just because of the way
Because
that
I'm
you're
weird, yeah.
because of the way that it works, you would
Right.
still see it.
But I've also been in other situations where we'll say, okay, I'm with Candace. And she'll look at me and she's like, wow, I feel your grandmother so strong right now. She's standing right here. And I say, yep, absolutely, because I was having a conversation at that time. So she'll pick up on it. But I've also been in other places with people that aren't as sensitive and say, wow, I feel a really strong female spirit right now, and kind of start to describe what my grandmother is. So yes, other people can pick up on it, but it depends on how open you are to it or how much you hone in on something like that. So it is possible, but it's not as common as an entire room full of people communicating or seeing or experiencing an earthbound spirit, because that spirit is still trying to manifest in the way that we would physically, because they have not crossed over yet.
Sherry, in your experiences, both on Ghost Hunters and just in other investigations, have you encountered somebody that you feel was a direct connection with you that wasn't related to where you might have been investigating, but was actually rather somebody from your own life coming back?
The only way I can say, the only thing I can think of is, a lot of times when we do this, there are people that, just say if there's 5 of us, one person would have an experience, but nobody else will. I mean, and not physically seeing them, but there's so many times that happens. So we're thinking, well, why are you getting this experience, but none of us are? Sometimes we all get the experience, but sometimes only that one person gets it. Every once in a while you're thinking, okay, some of these people are a little, maybe they're faking something because we don't experience anything, but that one person keeps getting something. However, it does happen quite a bit. So you do wonder, why is this person only connecting with that one person?
We see that happen a lot in investigations when you go to like historic places where something will come through and you'll say, why is it this? Why? We walk, especially it must drive, TV producers.
It does.
Who are there crazy because you're saying like, here's this story that we're trying to find. Here's this person that we're trying to find. And this is who we're trying to make a connection with, and something totally different comes in and changes the whole thing up. As just investigators, not on television, when that happens, it causes you to kind of rethink everything that you've already been planning, and it can change the style of what you do. Like if you hear that, oh, this place is supposedly haunted by this tough guy, and he gets combative with everybody that asks him questions, and all of a sudden you're interacting with like some childlike spirit.
Right.
Like it changes the whole mindset of what it is that you were trying to do.
Right. Right.
And again, it's like you don't even know if it's not that spirit just taking a different approach with you either. Like saying, I know that I've been combative with everybody else, but I like you, so I'm going to be nice to you.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that I do like about Ghost Hunters, because I don't, is that we do have girls and women and men on the show, because sometimes, like if you're dealing with a little girl or a little boy or something, sometimes it's easier for Sam and I to go in there, for them to, okay, well, we're mothers, and we can, and we can talk to them. Maybe they're a little afraid to talk to the guys, or something like that, or the guys, better to go in there because they have some jerk ghosts, in there, and they want nothing to do with women. So I like doing the different teams, because you never know who's going to attract to what.
The balance is beneficial.
Yeah.
So what you're really saying is Ghost Adventures sucks.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Absolutely
Here we go.
not.
I used to love to play that game. I used to love to try to get all the shows to talk crap about the other ones. Nobody ever would.
No, everybody does their own things. That's just one thing that.
No, but I understand what you're saying. I'm just kidding.
That I like.
Can you do me a favor and give everybody the call-in numbers, because we're getting a ton of questions that I can't keep up with.
508-996-0500, 877-996-1420. If you want to call in, you can also, kind of, I guess you can email your questions. I don't have my email open, but I can get them on my phone. SpookyCrew@SpookySouthcoast.com. But we would prefer if you called in and shared them with us.
Of course,
vocally.
we want to talk to you, for sure.
And we like to hear your voice. But you can ask them in the chat room as well. We just, there's a lot of comments coming in and out. So if you want to call in, certainly we welcome your questions for our guest. Sherry, I was stumbling over your name multiple times getting ready leading into the event, but Sherry D. Benedetti.
Yes, thank
It took
you.
me a while to
Thank
practice.
you.
I was always adding in extra syllables. I was like, and John Brightonman.
Bright.
Oh my God.
Bright Mantini. I'm making you Italian.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
I've had a few of those bright mantinis. They knock you on your ass.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Salem.
See, there you go. Now you have a name
Oh,
for the
God.
drink, the bright mantini.
That works.
See?
Sounds
I like
sounds
it.
certain
feminine.
flavors, though. I got to name it by the flavor.
That's true.
That's gonna get
flavor.
weird real quick.
I'm going to have to bring you some
Again.
Right.
creamsicle.
Again.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't know
definitely
you
have
were a
to.
creamsicle fan.
Love creamsicle.
I
Gross.
got to make some for some other people, so I'll make some for
No,
you.
no more.
Creamsicle is the
Yes.
way to go. Creamsicle is the best.
I will never try any of that, John. I'm sorry.
You got it
Nope.
sitting at your house.
Nope.
You and Brendan.
Still sealed.
I'm going to have to talk to Brendan.
Even Brendan didn't have any?
He hasn't had any.
Is that
yet,
the apple
no.
pie?
It's
Yes.
the apple
Oh my
pie. It's
God.
been sitting in my garage.
It's like somebody poured you a liquid glass of apple pie.
I know you tried it. I
It was
can't. I'll
phenomenal.
die.
Tried
no,
it.
you won't.
Yes, I will.
I
For
didn't.
sure.
I didn't try
Have you
it.
seen the size of me?
I
It
dove
doesn't
into
matter.
it.
There was people at Scaricon that were as tiny as you drinking it.
Yeah, full glasses. That lasted.
Exactly.
Sherry and I were sitting in that corner watching.
Did you see how
Listen.
quick all that went?
Listen, they didn't do very well.
Oh, we saw everybody. Yeah, we saw everybody.
Yeah. We stuck to the
It
wine.
wasn't-
It was easier.
It was a good show for us.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I
And this
just
is the time where we mentioned you also don't drink when you're investigating.
no.
We're talking about non-investigative
An after
situations.
party.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
we were talking an
After
after
party.
party.
Yes.
Yeah, for
At a
sure.
convention.
I
Right.
Yeah. No. I'm sorry, friend.
I did listen. I did drink one time before I tried Spirit Communication.
How'd that go?
It was all right. I had a
Communicated with spirits before and after.
no. It was on Thanksgiving, and I'd had a couple of drinks, and the family's like, "So you have a Ouija board out in your
Oh, God.
trunk, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I had a few drinks, and I just said to everybody, "Listen, just so you know, I really shouldn't be leading this right now because I've had a few beers." But everybody was like, "Whatever, it's fine." And so we did. Everything was okay. We just talked to my grandfather, but
Well, it could have been worse.
I have to preach safety.
Yes.
What was the other thing that somebody was? Oh, today I had to say when I'm talking about Fort Tabor, I'm like I have to stress everybody. Please don't go there. Don't
Please
trespass. They don't want you to
trespass.
go there
Yeah.
Yeah.
because we've had issues.
Yep.
We had issues that night
Yeah,
too.
you did.
I was gonna say like when you
Yeah.
guys were filming there, I know that there were some problems.
There's a few arrests
Yes.
that night.
Yeah, yep. Police, everything. Everybody came down, and
was
so by the
dramatic.
time Sam and I got in there, it was great.
Yeah.
We didn't have to worry about any people or
Intruders.
animals.
It's
It was
good when they go in there first and they clean up all the needles and they make sure that there's
Good
no,
God.
nothing broken, no broken glass in there or anything, no people living in there
Right.
because there's been issues in the past. But
Mm-hmm.
so I want to talk to you about that then. When you had the opportunity to investigate Fort Tabor and the stories, I'm pretty well versed in the stories that they told in that episode because they were all mine. But the thing that I was really impressed that they looked for the shimmering man in the tunnel in Millicent in the Milliken
Yeah.
in Battery Milliken, and that's something that was that happened in broad daylight. The original sighting was we were filming Jeff Belanger's PBS show, New England Legends, and he was filming something. You know how the building is shaped like an H.
Mm-hmm.
So he was in like one of the openings at the beginning because they were using the natural light, and he's like, "We're going to be filming over here, so if you guys want to walk down into the tunnels and explore and investigate while we're doing this, that's fine with us." So we start walking down, and as we're looking down at the other end of the H, we saw this like human-shaped thing that the only thing I can describe it as is, and you seem like you're pretty well versed in music. You know Peter Gabriel, Sledgehammer.
Yes.
You know the end of the video when the guy gets up and he's like all covered in stars in the room. That's the only way I can describe it. Is it looked like that, and
Really?
broad daylight. And so it's like, okay, we're not seeing a reflection off anything because there's nothing down there
There's
that's
no light
reflective.
down there.
Yeah, and even in broad daylight, it's that whole battery is pitch black in
Yeah.
the middle. So
We've had some weird
You can't see
experiences
anything.
in that place.
What
I
about
really
the
wish I
night
could
that
fix
you
it.
had the event there and somebody said some of the, and it wasn't like somebody threw something up and hit the roof, like something.
Oh no,
was
the roof.
falling,
Yeah, no, we thought the
falling.
roof was caving in
Yeah.
on us.
Yeah.
Yes, and the clip is hilarious because all we do is swear because we thought we were gonna die.
For sure.
We're right in that dead center, and we're getting these cold spots, which, in the middle of an underground tunnel, where the openings are going in the opposite direction. How do you have a breeze blowing at you? But we were feeling this cold breeze blowing at us. And right before that, there was a psychic that had been in the room that said, there's a young man cowering over in the corner, covering his head, and I can't get him to tell me what's wrong. And so we're down there trying to communicate with this spirit, when all of a sudden it just instant cold blast. We feel the temperature drop. We're trying to measure it, and all of a sudden it sounds like the roof is caving in on us. And we
Like an
thought
explosion.
we were going to die.
Wow.
We have a recording of it, but the recording of it doesn't sound nearly as loud as it sounded to our ears.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I actually jumped into the arms of the guy next to me because he's this big guy Frank. And so as soon as it was done, we're looking around, we're trying to see what would have made that noise. We're like, is there a raccoon up there? Is there, did something fall down? There was no dust. There was nothing that had moved. So we couldn't figure it out. We were scratching our heads. And it wasn't until later that we figured out that was also the spot where they used to have the cannons that would fire cannonballs that would shoot over toward Martha's Vineyard. And they were so loud that the first time that they ever set them off, the neighbor said, please don't ever do that again unless it's absolutely necessary, because you broke every window, every dish for a 4-block radius.
Wow.
And so that's what we think we might have caught, that we might have caught the phantom cannon fire. And the reason why that young man's spirit was bending down and covering his head is because he knew there was a fire in the hole, so he's doing a duck and cover.
Oh,
That
So,
makes sense.
Yeah, and it's
I just remember
crazy.
I was over in the main fort, and when a bunch of people from your group came over to the main fort and started talking about it, I could see it on everybody's faces that were talking, like they were actually a little freaked out because
know,
they couldn't figure where
somebody
it was coming
the
came-
only time I've ever been scared on an investigation.
Someone came running to me like, Tim needs you now. And I was
We-
like, what happened?
We thought we were going to die.
Because he likes to screw around on investigations and not listen to anything I say. So
This wasn't that.
yeah, no. And when I heard that, I was like, great, what happened? Is he still alive? Is he still standing? What's going on? I had to run, and that's like a 15-minute walk.
It is. It is
So
a pretty.
I ran in 19-degree weather. That was cold
Actually,
that night.
I think me and Moniz and Andrew Lake were over at the underneath thing.
Walcott?
The other batteries?
Yeah,
down
the
there?
other batteries, the outside on the
Yep.
left. And that's where we were, and people were coming over telling us
Yep.
from Milligan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was telling everybody just go back to the military museum and chill out and relax
Yeah,
because we were
that was-
freaked out.
That was scary.
And by the way, the crew must have loved having to haul all the equipment down to that battery.
oh, it was.
Did they at least give you the golf cart?
No, we drove down there.
They let you drive the vehicle straight down?
That's perfect.
Oh, TV perks.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, the city of New Bedford is never going to allow anybody in there again.
Nope.
Really?
No filming, nothing.
Really?
Not even events.
No, I went before the park board, and last year because we were going to have an event there,
Yep.
and we had actually already started selling tickets for it, and we already had it up. So they're like, you have to come to the meeting, and I thought it was just a formality, and they kind of chewed me out a little bit. They're like, not only can we not let you do this, I mean, they explained to me, they're like, listen, you can do it if you want, but you can only go into the fort itself, and you have to stay on the grass. Well, I can't charge people money to
Yeah.
just do that.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, well, thank you for coming for us for permission this time. All those other times that you didn't, you should have. I was like, what? I thought that the military museum took care of all that. So, I'm sitting right next to the guy from the military museum, Joe, and I completely throw him under the bus. I'm like, Joe told me it was okay.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, you can go. Joe, you stay. So I was like, oh, boy. So I was like, oh, is everything all right? And they're like, yeah, no. He had to talk to me about other things. But, yeah, so we're not allowed to do anything there anymore. Even if we, said to them, how much is it just to rent it out,
Yeah.
flat fee, we're going to do what we want to do. Nope. They eventually want to bar off entire Battery Milliken so that people can't get in. And they're hopefully going to be able to secure it enough that they can start cleaning up the inside of it,
Right.
and then people can go in for tours. I'm sorry, caller, if you want to call back in, 508-996-0500, 877-996-1420. Sometimes I ramble a little bit too long. I'm trying to get
I
to the
kept
call.
trying to ask you if you wanted to answer that call, but
Yeah, I was trying to go to the call, but feel free to call back in, 508-996-0500, 877-996-1420. So I don't remember from the episode, Sherry, but did you have things happen to you in The Fort Tabor investigation?
Yes, not in the fort itself, but
Which
in
seems
the
to be the
Milliken.
case.
Yeah, the Milliken, definitely. Like you said, that hallway is pitch black. I mean, you can't see right in front of you. It's really, really,
Flashlights
really
don't
dark.
even help.
Nope.
No,
Flashlights don't
absolutely
work
not.
at all.
No. There were a lot of noises,
Mm-hmm.
and by that point, because the police have came and everything else, like we knew it wasn't any, there was nobody around, but we went into every little room and everything, and I didn't see anything. I do remember the story about the little boy or some person squatting down in the corner, and the shimmering man. I know a couple of other things. But just a lot of it. I think of some like footsteps that we heard, and it sounded like maybe somebody was maybe either throwing things or something was dripping or all those little noises. But you go down to there's nothing around,
So,
nobody there.
I assume that you went to that area in the dead center, like off to the side, like the way that you usually walk in. It would be on your right hand side.
We started the left part of the H. We walked in that way, and then just walked the whole length, went all into all the rooms and all those little.
There's that one section in the middle where it goes like there's like multiple chambers,
right? Yeah,
of it where they have the old artillery transport system.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that's when you're in there and you're dead center and you're getting EMF anomalies. You're like, wait a minute, how is this happening? Because there's no stray signal coming into this.
Right.
There should be no like sharp temperature changes.
Right.
And we love it because if it's a really hot night when we do an investigation there, like that's the place to go because it's cool.
Right.
But on the cold nights too, we did one event there where it was 20 degrees out. It was October. We thought we were going to be fine. It was like early October. For some night, that night took a huge cold turn, and it was literally 20 degrees outside. And when we were in there, we're like, oh, it's nice in here. It's like 52. So it has its pluses and its minuses.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Well, good evening. You're on Spooky South Coast with Sherry. Do you have a question?
Yeah, Tim, what you had mentioned brought back a memory about the shadow guy that looked like he was like starry person.
Yes, the
I've
shimmery man.
never heard that before, except my employee. I was a supervisor at a testing company years ago, and my employee told me about her mother living in this apartment, and in the basement there was just a room she got a bad feeling about, and it was a dark room with a door that goes in. And when she was moving out on her last day, she had to get some stuff downstairs, and she told me that exact thing, like the hair standing up in the back of my neck, just telling you that story. I'd never heard anyone say that before, but she said this guy, she saw a shadow figure come right out with all stars on him, and I never heard that before until you just mentioned it. It's so strange.
It was the only other time I'd ever heard of it too, and so this.
I've never heard. But as soon as you said that, I was like, wow.
And I can't figure out like what it would have been because there should have been nothing that would be reflecting light off like that, and not in like a million little points like that. It'd be one thing if it was like a bright light was coming off it, but this was like exactly like you said, like there's all these little stars within the person's shape.
Yeah, she said that she just got a sense of pure evil. She just could not get out of that house fast enough. So I just don't know. That's the second time I've ever heard it.
See, that's interesting.
I don't know what it is, but I've never heard that before until you said it, so that was strange.
The one we encountered, we didn't get a sense of negativity from. We thought it was something that was actually we thought it was benevolent and was kind of just looking into what we were doing. So it's interesting that hers was definitely...
This woman said it was, she always got a bad feeling in it, very, very negative, and when she saw that, it was just like tremendous amount of dread. She just had to get out of there.
Well, it sounds like maybe I'm glad it was on the other side of the battery then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the call. And 508-996-0500, 877-996-1420. I also keep trying to look and make sure that I take a look at the chat room and see what's going on as well. There's been a lot of places that Ghost Hunters has gone over the years. There's been a lot of places that you've investigated outside of the year. What's your favorite place to go to, whether it was on the show, off the show? Is there a place that you like to go back to? Is there a place that you want to go back to?
There's many places I want to go to. I haven't gotten there yet. God, on the show from, there were a lot of there were, the jails and stuff that we went to. Was the armory, which I was thinking about the point where we were talking about before, that some spirits go for one person to another. I was thinking about the armory when we were Sam and I were downstairs, and we were getting a lot of things down there, and then we were coming upstairs to meet to go and go to another section, and then I got pinched. And so it was just well, why is he pinching me over everybody else? Why would it, right? And it's not, it wasn't a negative thing. It was just, so I got pinched. But I definitely, those are the ones that I like to go to. The ones that you actually have a physical feeling. I was about to hit
That's
you.
all right.
Sorry,
I was about to pinch her.
Illustrate your point.
I know.
Go right ahead.
Well, you said there's some places that you want to go. What's one place that you definitely want to go?
Well, St. Augustine Lighthouse.
That's on my list.
Yes. We'll go together?
Yes, please.
Okay.
We'll share
Book
another
it.
hotel room.
They're looking at
Book
me.
it.
Excuse me, John. That's where the fun dip comes in.
It's Florida. It sounds like fun till they get there.
Yeah.
No, it's
They're not
fun.
going to enjoy it.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
I've been there. They're
We
not
were-
going to
At
enjoy
the
it.
lighthouse?
Yeah.
I was in
100%.
Florida. I was in Florida once
not?
for an hour. I was like, yeah, okay. I was in just
There's
in an airport. I'm
sunshine.
like, yeah, I'm good.
It's
No, the
No.
lighthouse.
the lighthouse is literally
What's
the
I'm talking about the
bottom of
entire
it.
state of Florida.
The bottom of it is about the size of this room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
When you get to the third level,
Yeah.
it's about the size of Tim's area back there, and you got to climb all those stairs.
I'm good with that. I'm fine.
I mean,
I wanna go.
I think we can fit in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We're fine.
It's just.
The two of us can
Well, if
fit.
the room's the size of me, then we're only going up one at a time. I'm sorry to tell you.
It's just. It's nice. It is nice. It is a cool place to check out.
Do we have another call?
We have another call
Okay.
on the line, and we have about 5-6 minutes left. So, good evening. You were on Spooky South Coast with Sherry. Do you have a question?
Yeah, when you guys thinking about going back to the fort? Ever?
We're not allowed back. We've had some meetings with the park board. There's just not. It's not conducive to us being able to run an event there, so we can't. Because basically, we'd only be allowed to be on the grass portion of the fort itself, not allowed inside the batteries.
Yeah, you see, I used to go to school down there years ago when everything was wide open.
And I've heard from people that they wish it was that way again, but unfortunately, people have taken advantage of that and made it so that it's unsafe to allow that to happen.
So it's okay for them to open it up for World War II reenactments.
Yes, because they follow that rule. When they go inside, they only stay on the grass.
From
So-
the events that we've done in the past and the amount of space that we were able to cover and all the buildings that we were able to cover, they're basically cutting us down to one building only on the grass, and that is it.
Right.
Compared to the 4 to 6 buildings that we were in before, we're no longer allowed in because of safety reasons.
And
So
not to mention the fact that the people who were buying the tickets and spending
Yeah.
the money to go, they want to go into Battery Milliken.
yes,
That's the whole
it's
reason
a huge
they're going.
draw. So we would be taking that away from them, and that's just really not fair. So
But they do. I mean, if people want to get inside the fort, they have plenty of times during the year when they open
yeah,
up the
they
fort.
open it about once a year.
No, it's more than that
Is it?
now
They told me
because
once.
pretty much every time now they do some sort of an event down there, they'll open the doors.
Okay.
So people can go in, but again, you're limited to just staying on the grass. You can't go
Right.
into any of the casements. You can't go onto the second floor. Nobody's allowed in the lighthouse. So all these restrictions are on there. And so now, that's the point that they're at. Maybe that changes if the lawyers for the city
Change
can
their
find a way
minds,
can find a way to make it so that the city has less liability if something goes wrong. But I know that Milliken's going to be out for as long as they can't keep it contained and keep it safe. And what's funny is when we went there to film Jeff's show, there's a guy in there who's painting the walls
Yes.
and painting over all the graffiti. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you bothering to paint that? If it's like somebody who goes out and gets their car washed, but their engine's dead.
yeah.
What's the point?
Right.
And so that's
because you're filming.
no, they didn't even. It had nothing to do. They didn't even know that anybody was coming to film.
They
That's just
do
what the
it
city
regularly.
does.
Yeah.
the city just sends somebody in there and says, "Go cover over the graffiti."
You're better off putting out a camera to catch the
It's-
people that are doing it.
And there are cameras for anybody that's listening. There are cameras on the UMass school. There are cameras on the water treatment plant. So the entire spot is covered, and they are able to track
check
who you
'em,
are,
yep.
and they are able to press charges. So don't think that just because you got in and you got out and nobody pulled up while you were there that you're safe. So sorry, caller. I wish that we could say that we were going to do something, but our hands are tied. We would love to be back there, but our hands are tied.
We have other
Yeah.
stuff up our sleeves now, though.
Oh yeah. All
Well,
right.
you can always fly a drone in.
Well, I don't know if I'd want to fly a drone into there.
No, you wouldn't be able to see
There's-
anything.
Yeah, it'd just be pitch black.
Yep.
You'd be operating in the dark.
No, I'm saying,
Into Fort Rodman.
yeah.
I suppose you could. Wouldn't you be worried about not being able to get it back out?
Yes.
Yeah, true.
I would just go over it. You certainly can go over it.
Yeah.
But
Well, there's already a YouTube video of somebody flying over it.
Right, and it's pretty good video actually.
Yeah, it is.
And when
I
Jeff
was actually at the fort when I was watching it.
when Jeff did the episode of New England Legends too, he flew his drone over it and got a great shot of the whole place. So I mean, we'll see. We'll keep trying and keep hoping, but I wouldn't hold our breaths.
All right.
All right. Thank you for the call.
Thank you.
You too.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Yeah, people do want to get on do an investigation. August 12th, we have one in Wareham.
We do.
The Wareham Historical Society is letting us back for Ghost of the Gateway 2017. And John, we have the S.K. Pierce Mansion coming up as well.
September 9th.
Going to be a lot of familiar faces from this room there
Yes.
that night.
I think it's us four that are sitting right there, right here.
And
Yes.
Matt can come too if he wants.
Absolutely, he's more than welcome to come.
It's, we were just talking to everybody today. Probably in my top 3 most haunted places I've been. So I'm
And
looking
like
forward
I
to
said,
the
it's
next one.
definitely in my top 5.
Weird stuff that happens
Yeah.
there. And we'll definitely talk more about that coming up as we get closer to that event. We're just about out of time for tonight. If you want to get the Spooky South Coast event tickets, SpookySouthCoast.com. John, if they want to get your tickets real fast.
They can go to my Facebook page, and or yours, or
Yeah, we've
Stephanie's,
all shared
or
it.
Sherry's.
And I think we have the link up on our
It's
site
a
too
link
as well.
right up on there for Eventbrite.
So there you go. Those are the ways to get the tickets to those. Come on out, have some fun with us. And we'll be back again next Saturday night to talk more about the paranormal. It's what we do. We're here each and every Saturday night, Spooky South Coast. Find us online, SpookySouthCoast.com. So until next week, for Matt, for Stephanie, for Chris, for John, for Sherry, I'm Tim. Stay spooktacular.
Station New Bedford's News Talk Station, 1420 WBSM, New Bedford.
Former President Obama for not doing more to